That's James's pizza. These are his smoothies. We're going to review Panique and these other films right here. I'm eating the rest of the falafel sushi. That's the last of it, besides the stuff I gave to James, which, whatever, he has one piece left. So this is my outfit for today. Very stylish, and I love this little outfit. When my sister gave me this skirt and the other one that are short like that, I was like, well, how in the world do people even wear these? Well, the other one I wore, it was a size 7, I believe, so I just wore it like around my hips so that it was a little bit longer, and I thought that was okay. And this one, I think this is actually how they're supposed to be worn, with the pants underneath.
It's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
Although that wouldn't get flyaway like some fabric. It's a problem here in Lethbridge if you're wearing skirts or dresses or anything.
But I remember when these were popular, and I was riding the bus, I think going to the university, and there was a woman who was wearing one of those little skirts, and not with nothing underneath.
You gotta be kidding.
No.
Okay.
I think she did have underwear on. But anyway, she was up talking to the bus driver, so everyone's sitting down. Yeah.
Who was getting a worm's eye view or something like that.
Yeah. I suppose you need a knife, don't you?
I could use one.
Okay. So I'm just going to show you this for a minute. What I used on James's pizza is this soy mozzarella. So
looks like the real thing to me.
I know, but I'm not a fan of this product. And if you look at the fat profile, especially the omega-6 to 3 ratio, and you look at the ingredients, you might figure out why. And if you don't, well, maybe you should tune into my next post on chewing the fat on mountainrideblog.wordpress.com, and then I'll explain it all in great detail. But as far as taste goes, and how it melts and everything like that, it's comparable.
So I guess I don't want there to be any dead air. What was I hearing on CBC a while back? What is it? Amin Abdel Mahmoud or something like that had a brown woman, she called herself, complaining about her novel not selling. She got it published. I've never had a novel published, neither has Pauline.
But I will. I'm going to be a best-selling author. Part
Indigenous American and part African American. I don't go around trying to get published on the basis of my color or religion or ethnicity or whatever.
One day, everyone will know I'm the best-selling, not just me.
She was complaining about how it sold. You know, if you get your book published and you don't sell it, it's on you. Huh? People have been buying Toni Morrison and Alice Walker and all this kind, Leroy Jones. What was his name? Amiri Bakari or something like that. Bacardi. Anyway, and you know that dates back to the 60s or whatever. If you're a person of color and you don't sell in North America, you just don't have a saleable product. Don't go around playing the racist card or whatever. You just don't have a saleable product. You're already getting huge amounts of free airtime at my expense, Pauline's expense, our dog's expense, on CBC and stuff like that. You're winning all sorts of Giller prizes and Booker nominations and stuff like that. I'm afraid most of the time not deserved. Of course, there are lots of people who are not people of non-color or whatever who get that. The reason why is they're women, and they hang out on what they think's a left wing. So.
All right. So would you have put these in this order? First of all, because that's what I did. That was my order.
I don't know
May
about
not-
Nine Perfect Strangers because
Well, you didn't watch that.
no, but it's got Melissa McCarthy in it.
I know.
If you've got it at the bottom, I'm not necessarily disappointed because these were pretty darn good.
We had a good stack.
But you were talking about this one. It has Nicole Kidman.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's starring role because she's listed right on the left, and then she's got the picture right in the middle. Oh,
All
there's
right.
Melissa
So
McCarthy.
I'm
Okay.
asking about the order. Would
Yeah.
you have put them in this order?
Pretty well tied for the top three, but maybe these two, Panique
Okay.
and the Ungentlemanly, whatever.
So James says this is top of the stack.
No, I'm saying those two are tied.
Okay.
But it doesn't matter whether that's
Because
first or
I
second.
really liked Penny.
Holy smokes, that was good.
That
yeah.
was really good.
Yeah.
So
written,
Penny,
the novel it was based on was written by,
Simenon.
yeah, Georges Simenon. Okay.
And it's done in 1946, black and white. And back then they really handled black and white well.
Yeah, they did.
You know, they really knew how to work with the shadows and stuff. And anyway, this is in French with
Yeah.
English subtitles.
Yeah.
And I mean, how we're watching the movies now anyway,
Subtitle.
it's subtitles. It has to be
Even
subtitles.
English
So,
stuff. Yeah.
but we're still enjoying it.
hmm
So this was really artfully done.
Yeah, it was.
I expect that it wasn't just the filmmaker. I guess that's Julien Duvivier.
Duvivier, yeah.
But Georges Simenon himself was writing the art into it. I suspect. I have not read this. So
Yeah, me neither, actually.
yeah.
I've read several of his novels, most of them featuring Maigret. Anyway, it's actually very topical because it's about people wanting to. So, a bit of a spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Average French citizens wanting to lynch a Jewish fellow, a very obviously Jewish fellow in France. And I don't know when Simenon wrote the novella on which it's based, but this was done just roughly a year after World War II ended. Now, the French in particular, but lots of Europeans, lots of left-wingers are off to doing, they're back in the toilet again in terms of, it's called anti-Semitism. It should be called Judeophobia.
What was it when Mein Kampf was re-released? What was it? 2016 or 17, something like this.
Was it? I didn't know about that.
Then it was sold so many
the
copies.
book. Well, it's important to know it, but unfortunately,
I agree.
Yeah, like I have my own copy.
Yeah.
And understand, I have a copy of
And
Das
maybe
Kapital.
that's all. Maybe people were just buying it for that and going, okay, well, I got to know what's in the book.
Well, some people would be chic, like it'd be a little bit like Bob Marley with that book that never seemed to get past the first 10 pages of Haile Selassie. A lot of people have
it's like
I've got a copy of Mein Kampf. What's on page 100? I haven't got that far yet.
It's like the religious text. You just got to slog through them.
You've got to slog through them and not having them on your coffee
thinking.
table. Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, so I loved different the music, the whatever. There's lots of things that they're playing around with in here. That anyway, it's a must-see as far as I'm concerned. The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. It's a Guy Ritchie thing, and I don't think Guy Ritchie disappoints ever.
I don't think so.
But,
yeah.
Like maybe not the best.
Well, it's not as good as the Coen brothers, but that's two guys ganging up on one.
Great. And so I stuck this on for James, and James was not disappointed. I came in at my favorite part of the movies like this, because this is based on true events.
Yeah.
So, the untold true story of the first ever Special Forces organization formed during World War II by UK Prime Minister Winston Churchill. A small group of military officials, including author Ian Fleming. So,
now understand the Ian Fleming guy is, and I think it's way handsomer than Ian Fleming was in real life, but he's not part of the Special Forces crew. He's just helping coordinate and get it together.
Yeah. So, my favorite part, though, of these true stories are the end, when they bring up the pictures of the real people or whatever, and that the characters are based on, and then what happened afterwards, or whatever, right?
An epilogue or
yeah.
a short biography after that.
Yes, I love that part.
Yeah.
So,
what the main character, or lead character, not main character, the boss. What did that have to do with Ian Fleming? Do you remember what they were flashing?
Oh, James Bond.
Yeah, they figured James Bond was at least partly based on the guy with the beard there.
Oh yeah.
Fancy mustache and stuff.
Yeah, a bunch of great heroes and
I love
a
this
romantic twist at the end that's really nice to see.
Very nice.
So,
this is in the epilogue, so we're not going to tell you
No.
what that one is.
Because that's a must-see too.
I love the Swede in this one. He loves killing. And he likes, this is probably made up, he likes tearing people's hearts out with his bare hands. Maybe after he's killed them all the time, but maybe not. Anyway. And I like the Swede in Arctic Convoy, because the camera cut out when I was reviewing that, so I just want to mention it. They're saying, you're a Swede, you guys are chicken Swedes, stuff like that. That's what Canadian hockey players called Swedish hockey players. During World War II, you Swedes, over in Sweden, were chicken Swedes. So this character in Arctic Convoy might be based partly on a real person. He's saying, place where I come from, they're saying, well, how come you're here fighting with us? Fighting for us. And he says, well, you know, like there were, I'd come from a place where there's a nice forest. A tree good for, where trees good for lumber. And they make great stocks for rifles. I think that's the part that rests against the shoulder. And he says, now we're providing the Wehrmacht, the German military, with a lot of the stocks. And we're supposed to be neutral, but we're not. Now, I've known already that some of the best iron ore in the world comes from and came then from the northern part of Sweden, around Kiruna, where Boreas salmon came from. And during World War II, you know, they couldn't, there's no way they were going to sit on that. They wanted to maintain their plush and lush lifestyles, and they were providing the German military with some of the best iron ore in the world. And, you know, our modern day armies need iron ore, steel for tanks, and for planes, and for rifles, and for big artillery guns, and oh yeah, for ammunition and for bombs. People don't realize it, but you need a lot of steel to make bombs and artillery shells. I guess bullets, I don't know, some of them are copperhead or whatever. But there you go. So you Swedes, you smoke on that. You helped, you contributed to the lengthening out of the Holocaust, and here you are pretending to be peacekeepers, peacemakers in the Middle East. You slimy Judeophobes, cannot stand you. Anyway, that's the average Swede. The people who support Israel from Sweden, and people who recognize that in Sweden, that recognize you played a horrible role. It wasn't neutral, fake neutral during World War II. This is not addressed to you. Okay?
All right. So, Night Moves. Gene Hackman did a great job. And it's kind of a mystery sort of thing. It's about a private investigator. And
it's definitely a mystery thing, but it has a different kind of curve to it and stuff like that.
Very different. So it's moving slowly along, and I'm like, okay, so, like, James like, has anyone died yet? And I'm like, nope. and so anyway.
Spoiler alert, just you wait. Okay.
It'll happen. So, yeah, this was put out in 1975. And James says that there was a mystery around Gene Hackman's death as well.
Just recently.
So,
I don't know if they'll ever solve
interesting.
how he died. I'm pretty sure they're figuring his murder. Maybe he and his wife. And I think he was up in his 90s.
Weird.
So,
But
please, folks, get out there and solve it. Because Gene Hackman, I don't think he was doing any more acting. I think he'd been retired for a while. But he was a pretty darn good actor. And he didn't do it on his looks. You know.
true enough. But speaking of looks, I didn't recognize her for the longest time. Do you want to talk about...
I didn't recognize her at first, and I was, I guess, looking for her because I saw her in the credits.
Oh,
Melanie Griffith, yeah.
Okay.
But that just slipped my mind. Now I'm going, oh, that's her. When she was quite young, playing something like a 16-year-old. And
Playing a bratty 16-year-old.
now I'm
Beautiful. bratty
hoping she was over
16-year-old.
18 because
Really well, actually. Yeah, I
there was
hope she was.
a whole lot of flesh going on there and stuff like that. So, but it was kind of creepy because when she's playing a 16-year-old and she's strutting her stuff underwater, above water, whatever, I'm uncomfortable with that. So,
Yep.
But yeah, at that point in time, I think she was going with Don Johnson. And like I've told Pauline, I've seen pictures from Don Johnson in the 70s, and he was prettier than any woman he ever went out with. Like he went out with the ultimate groupie called Pamela Des Bars or Debar or something like that. And I've seen pictures with her. She's phenomenal looking, but Donald Johnson looked like an angel. And you're saying, what? That guy's in Miami Vice? He is a classic, maybe the classic counter ad for smoking, because you'd never know it. And also for putting on weight. Don't put on weight. And he was way prettier than Melanie Griffith. I'm talking about pretty. Handsome and pretty.
So I don't really have anything else to say about this. I think it's worth watching. So, how's your food, by the way?
That's great.
Did I ask with your mouth full?
No. I'm just still having trouble swallowing.
Okay. So, 9 Perfect Strangers, Season 1. Don't know how or why they'd do a Season 2, but it wasn't bad. You know, like I watched it while I was working out. And what I did is I had the subtitles on and I had music playing, so...
At the same time?
It was okay, yeah. But,
there you go.
Honestly, there were some parts where it didn't really work. Like, some people said some things that I was like, no, that doesn't work. But, anyway.
Well, that's a scriptwriter's problem. And really the producer's problem, too.
But I thought for the most part, the actors did a good job. There's one woman, I can't remember her name. I think it was a nice name. What could it have been? I'm going to try to find on the back here. Nope, doesn't give their names. It was a name that began with a C or something like that. I think that's that woman right there on the cover. So anyway, I don't know what the name of the actress is, and I can't remember the name of the character right now. But she's at one point she's talking with somebody else, and she's talking with a man, and the man says to her, what's with all the tears or whatever? And there's nothing. Nothing. She doesn't look like she's been crying. There's no tears. So I don't know how they managed to screw that up.
Yeah.
But honestly, watching this, it's about a health spa sort of thing, a health retreat that Nicole Kidman's character runs, and it's kind of a different kind of health retreat, it turns out. So I don't really like the whole idea of it that much, but whatever, some people are into that sort of thing. And
well, like the ultimate health retreat would be to get away from everyone who's trying to get away from it all. And so, yeah, you could go to some bucolic place in the countryside, but then you're stuck with all these people who are screwed up trying to unscrew their lives.
I mean, do you really want to hang out with even these are 9 perfect strangers, but that's not very many, only 9. And this is a beautiful location. So it kind of feels a little bit like Survivor.
Oh, God. Isn't that awful? Yeah.
And honestly, I think the reason that Survivor was popular, so maybe this will be too, for that reason. Because maybe people are watching us and going, oh, I wish I had time to make a smoothie. Well, yeah, that took me maybe 30 seconds. So you do have time. So just whip it up. I mean, the vegan keto sushi that I make, that takes a little more time. But, I mean, once you get the hang of how to do it, you can make lots. And, I mean, it stores in the fridge really well. So, whatever. And that's way better spa food.
So they had spa food.
Yeah, they had
spa scenery.
Yes.
Did they have spa exercises and stuff?
Sure.
Okay.
But you could do that yourself.
Of course.
We went for a walk today, and James was taking a long time talking to somebody. I waited in the vehicle for about an hour, and then I was like, okay, that's it. I'm leaving James a note. I'm walking home.
Well, it was a really interesting guy. He ran into you on the way back or something like that.
So then my angels, they'd guided me. They told me this morning, give yourself permission. And I'm like, give myself permission for what? And then I realized in the car after waiting for an hour, I'm like, give myself permission to leave. So I wrote a note and I walked home. So then I took this crazy route, and I guess the angels were guiding me there too, to take this crazy route. So I went through the sugar bowl, which took me way out of the way. Why did I go that way?
Out of the way.
And so I went there, and I guess I just wanted to walk through the sugar bowl. So I went through the sugar bowl, and then had to walk back, and then I was like, why did I go all this way out of my way? But I have my water with me, and I thought, whatever. And it was a nice day. So then I'm walking along, and I was going to go back down 13th, and I got sidetracked, and I went down, I think, 15th or something like that. So anyway, I'm walking down there, and I pass a black walnut tree. Like, I'm watching my feet while I walk, because that's what I usually do. And there on the sidewalk and in the gutter, there's black walnuts, and I'm like, huh. And I look up, and I'm like, huh. And so I pick up a couple, like one from the gutter and one from the sidewalk, and I was going to try to break it open, and it wouldn't break open because it's a walnut. So then I'm walking along, and I'm going to go just home through the park. I'm going to cut through the park, and then I decide, well, I have these walnuts. Maybe I'll just put them in, like, James's peat bale, a couple, just so that they can have a chance to grow. I don't know.
That'd be sweet. Yeah.
So, anyway,
well, they grow
I'm
here.
walking along there, and then I'm walking through the park, and I'm like, hey, I just saw you today. And he's like, I don't know. And he didn't recognize me at first, and I'm like, your dog's name is Cosmo. And he's like, yeah, I saw you while I was talking to James. And so I was like,
that's where you ran into him. I was wondering.
He said, I'd really like to talk to that guy again. He knows so much. And I said, well, he lives like just a block away over there. And I said, but if you have a piece of paper and a pencil or something, then I can leave a note for him. So he wrote down his name and number, and James is going to call him sometime. So anyway,
he was interested.
So my angels guided me all over the place in this wild, crazy to find walnuts, and then to find Hunter again. And anyway, it's just the way my life is.
Juglins, Niagara.
So.
Right. Black Mountain.
So then, you can get a lot of great exercise just going for a walk and let your angels guide you. And you can get a lot of beautiful places to walk, going through, like here, if you're in Lethbridge, through the coulees, or there's often some
nice
beautiful
parks.
Place near where you're living, and just do that.
Yeah, there's Henderson Park. Just don't expect a beautiful smell to go along with the beautiful.
Yeah, that's not very good. But anyway, so Yeah, it's beautiful, and it kind of reminded me of Survivor, because I feel like everyone watching Survivor is really, they're survivors. And all they're really doing is surviving in their life, for the most part. They don't have a chance to live because they're working at a gas station or a fast food joint or a grocery store or a bank or something like that. And then they're coming home and they're like, oh boy, I love that beautiful scenery. And they're just wishing that they could afford to go on holidays.
Just
for some beautiful
not
place.
with any competitors.
And I think that this would attract the same sort of crowd.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway. Having said that.
Would you recommend that show?
No.
There we go.
So.
It's bottom line, folks.
Yeah. So 3 minutes, 15 seconds. I guess I could talk a little more about this. I always like seeing Melissa McCarthy.
Well, you know, it's funny because she actually looks funny, but it's not.
She looked beautiful in this.
I know, but that's the thing. She looks relatively normal. It's just she always seems to get a look on her face.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
funny.
yeah. She's very good at that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, she used to be overweight, but that wasn't what made her funny.
Mm-hmm.
At least not for me. Mm-hmm. Remember I was saying Jack Black in this last movie that we saw of him? Mm-hmm. Maybe too much overweight, you know? Mm-hmm. So, it's kind of funny, his pudginess, but it's gotten beyond pudgy.
So which of the smoothies do you like more?
I haven't started either. Because,
okay.
if I take a smoothie when I'm taking veggies, then it...
Oh, it hurts?
Yeah.
Okay.
It washes the stuff down.
All right. Well, you may as well enjoy the pizza because you haven't had that in a long time.
Well, I'm eating way more of it. You probably heard me munching and crunching when you got back. I lit in some potato chips, not potato chips, popcorn that I had in the vehicle. And I'm ashamed to say how many of them I ate. You know that big bag?
Yeah.
It's gone.
Oh, well.
But
yeah.
That's how good this pizza is. You know, like, how big was the bag? Like,
huge.
This high.
Yeah. It's like a pillow.
It was a pretty good walk.
Pretty much ate a pillow worth of popcorn.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, that one's good. It's mainly orange, but some apple too, right?
Yeah, and goji berries.
Well, there you go. You don't even taste the goji berries. Some things you just don't want to taste.
Soy meal replacement powder.
Well, I prefer the orange one. This one's pretty good too. So what's in this one again?
That one's cafe mocha. Anyway, that's it. Unless you have something for a minute.
A minute? Well, maybe I'll talk a little bit more about CBC. And stuff.
Okay, go ahead.
So stop playing the race card, you idiots. You racist. Stop hiring Muslims outside of the percentage of the population that they represent. Especially Muslims that can't actually speak Canadian English. When you're on radio, you're supposed to be able to communicate. I'm not interested in paying taxes that go to folks that can't communicate. Where you're sitting, communicate properly. You're sitting and say, what did they say? What did they say? What did they say? Well, that's wrong. My parents didn't pay taxes, so that CBC could form this big bureaucracy. I'm not paying taxes for that. I want to see people represented at the rate of population that they